We saved humanity. We saved the MCU. This whole conversation changed the way filmmaking will be done forever.
I wish, dude, for the MCU at least.
Gosh, yeah.
Jeez. Why don't you tell us the plot of Deadpool and Wolverine?
Oh gosh. I did actually write this down, but
Did you
I don't
actually?
even think I finished writing it. Yeah, I don't even think I finished writing it because I was like, oh man, this is a lot happened.
Yeah.
Basically, I guess Deadpool is going through a midlife crisis, and he is pulled from his timeline. And I guess his timeline takes place during the Logan movie. Is interesting because anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, he's pulled from that timeline. And I guess someone called Paradox, who has their own place in TVA from the
Right.
Loki
From
series,
Loki, yeah.
who is played by Mr. Darcy from Pride and Prejudice.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay,
Uh,
okay.
yeah, dude, it's Mr. Darcy. I love Matthew McFadden, man. He was also in Succession. But
I
yeah,
need to
he
watch that. Okay.
pulls him in, and yeah, he basically says he's trying to create a sacred timeline, and then he also tells Deadpool that his own timeline is actually expiring because Wolverine, I guess, was the core person of that timeline, and since he died, the whole timeline's gonna die. Blah
Yep.
blah 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 blah. I
Bruh.
guess he decides he's looking for Wolverine, and then him and Wolverine get sucked into some shenanigans, and
Yeah.
gosh, I
That's
could go
like,
on and on, but that's pretty
yeah,
much what happens.
that's like the non-spoiler like plot. All the trailers I think did a pretty good job of like getting you interested for the movie without telling you really what it's about. They were just like, here's
Yes,
Deadpool, here's
exactly.
Wolverine, but we're not gonna tell you anything. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, it's like Wolverine was the big reveal, and that it's not Deadpool 3, it's Deadpool and Wolverine. And
Yeah. What are your overall feel? What are some of your positive feelings on it?
yeah, spoilers like free to talk or just like
Why not? Let's just include spoilers. Let's just do it.
I think every cameo reveal was executed well and
Yeah.
provided like satisfying fan service. So I feel like if there was ever like a low pacing moment, or if like things felt slow, or like the kind of points where you feel like you're gonna yawn, specifically like halfway through the movie, I was getting a little like, oh man, yeah, this is funny and all, but I'm kind of like I'm drifting off here. And then there were some huge cameo reveals.
Yes. Yeah, I agree
Um,
with that. I remember feeling I was getting tired. I was like, okay, this is funny. Like this is the Deadpool humor and it's cool to see Hugh Jackman again, but like I'm kind of feeling it. I'm feeling the runtime.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I know
Well,
exactly what
I
you're
feel like they
saying, dude.
use the cameos to bring the audience back into it. Be like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
whoa, I
So
care again about what's happening.
you care again. Everybody look. Best
Yeah.
compliment, think it like going positive. The best compliment I can give this movie is when the humor hit, it was like it hit. It was on. Like there are some genuinely
Yeah,
hilarious moments in this movie. Yeah.
body of Wolverine going through TVA, like bodies and like the blood and the gut. Like that was like so fun. And then like Christina, my girlfriend next to me, was just like laughing the whole time
Yeah,
because in
literally
between
say
all of it, it was like the bye 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 dance.
yeah, it's just dancing. Yeah. I think I think
It was, and it was like really good dancing.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree. I think the opening is one of the strongest parts of the film. I liked how they incorporated the TVA with it. Like, I think that's the best way. The TVA was the
Yeah.
best way for them to incorporate how to get the Fox characters into Marvel, right? Because, the TVA controls all the timelines. And I think that honestly worked so perfectly for, like, in real life for them to write the movie. That was like, I feel like you
Yeah.
couldn't even plan that. You know what I mean?
And it was cool too, like from like a fan service perspective, because it was the exact same aesthetic as like the Loki series, and like it was
Yes.
pretty much you could feel you felt at home when they were in those TVA scenes, because it
Yes.
was something that you recognize already, and I
It
think that's the way to do it. Like when you blend
yeah.
franchises together. I was like, oh cool, like this all makes sense in my head.
Yeah, I think yeah, it worked. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It felt like the same TVA as Loki. I think what the MCU, what the Marvel movies need now is like something that's constant. And I think they should
Hmm.
incorporate the TVA more into their movies to have some kind of, because right now it just feels so, to me it feels so scattershot. Like there's so much
Yeah.
happening. The movies, like each different movie doesn't have the same. There's not one constant in there to make it feel like the same universe or like that they're building towards
Well,
something.
in a way, I feel like this Deadpool movie was kind of a blueprint going forward
Yeah.
for like not just criticizing but and satirizing everything, but like I think he even says it like here's why the multiverse stuff doesn't work so much now,
Yeah.
you know, or it was so cool when we saw it and was revealed, and it's like now we're realizing it's kind of like what happened with Game of Thrones where there's too many plots going on, and you know I'm sure you remember that time where you're like really excited to go see an MCU movie because you just knew it would be good every time. Like I remember having several conversations with people like that. It's like, oh yeah, it's an MCU movie, like I just know I'm gonna walk in and like it,
Yeah,
like
you
I know
just
I'm
know.
gonna have a
I
good
mean,
time,
they were
you
putting
know.
out bang like constant hitters. Like it
Yeah.
was like they just weren't missing. And it was that time was actually it was like unparalleled because everybody would go see an MCU movie. Like the
Hmm.
most random people that you know would be going to see it. They'd be like, "Yeah, I just saw Guardians of the Galaxy." You
Yeah,
know.
that's fun. That's what got me back into watching them again because I think the last movie I'd ever seen was Iron Man 3, and then I saw Endgame.
Oh, really? Are you serious?
I jumped from that to Endgame,
Oh,
and I
so
was
you
like, "Wow, this is really cool. I should probably go back and watch all these movies." So I
No.
did. So that's what
You're like, "Bro,
did.
these are really good. Have people seen these?"
Yeah, I was the random person who showed up to Endgame and decided
Yeah.
that I did like it. I was like, this is good. Which to us, I guess, you know, I guess the point of this movie is it's like they're like, hey, here's why it was almost like the whole story and plot of the movie was justifying why where everything went wrong, making fun of why it went wrong, and then
Yeah.
kind of showing like here's how you can here is how right down to the stinger of the movie just being like a gag like there just needs to be a spirit to the movie. It just needs to be fun and quirky,
Yeah.
and like as long as everyone who's a part of it's enjoying it. I've always felt this way about movies. If it's a passion project, which obviously for Ryan Reynolds has always been one,
Right.
and the whole team, everyone involved, like it's gonna work, you know.
Yeah.
And that's that's what I came at in a positive sense came away from with the movie. I was like, this makes me feel good. I never thought
Yeah.
I'd like see a bunch of badass superheroes rolling up in a beat up Honda Odyssey to the
Li
final battle of a scene.
Yes, bro.
I was think I was about to cry when that
Yeah,
happens.
literally, you're like, "This is"
It's
it's definitely yeah, that's I feel like that is the best thing you can say about it, is it still feels like a project for Ryan Reynolds, and, like, there's still passion in it, and Hugh Jackman
yeah,
wanted to come
yeah.
back because he just wanted to come back, you know? Like, nobody
Dude, he
convinced
like
him.
talked him into it. Like, there's all these paparazzi photos of them talking to each other for a few years leading up to the movie.
Literally,
And
yeah.
people were always joking, like that was like the low key hype they were doing for it. And then it was finally like, oh my gosh, he's doing it. He's coming
Yeah, he's
back,
doing
you
it. He's
know?
coming yeah, we're doing this. And I think that is what the MCU needs right now are more projects that feel less like a machine. Like we're just gonna churn stuff out. Okay, some more positive stuff, just random stuff now because we talked about cameos, we talked about the plot, we've talked about
Hmm.
just going into the the suit, bro. Hugh Jackman's suit. Finally, dude, we finally got it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it was like when he I mean, I obviously waited till the end of the film to put the mask on, but I mean, it was perfect, man. I thought it was perfect. It
Yeah,
just
it
felt
seems like it was the like the original, not the original, but it's the which is like the television X-Men show Wolverine one, but it
yeah,
was just kind of done up a little more modern
yeah,
looking, and I love that about it.
he's
It was a
yeah.
good reveal. The whole thing, I was like, this is cool. And then it's like he even kind of poked fun at it. He's like, it's kind of a cheesy outfit or something. He said, he's like, why are you like bright yellow or
Yeah.
it's like
I think I do
self-aware too, you know?
I do think the mask in a way, I don't think it looked as good as I thought it would look on screen. Maybe I'm being like a little bit of a hater,
Yeah,
but
it
I
had the
still
Deadpool eyes, like
yes,
the little
yeah.
white dots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was just cool to finally see him in it. Like I will at least give like Marvel their credit of they're putting them in the costumes and that like in the Marvels, I think yeah, that was the last MCU movie. At the end when it showed Beast from X-Men like in the credit scene or whatever, he looked like a he looked like Beast, you know, like at least they're going for it.
Yeah, all of them too. Even like when Deadpool was suiting up, I was just seeing his kind of updated new look. Was
Yes.
all of it was great.
Yeah, like little
The
brighter
design,
red and
obviously,
stuff.
like the designers for this movie, like did it was like they're good about blending kind of the comic, like illustrated look with kind of more of a modern
Yeah, something
feel.
that
Like how would this
like
look if it was something I actually
how do we make
wore?
it look good? Yeah, how to make it translate well. Yeah, agreed. Man, when he was like getting suited up at the TVA, Deadpool, and then he comes out and he says that thing about I think your wardrobe is like a an abuser or something or a predator or
Oh yeah,
something.
no,
Like
I think you're I think he's a predator, yeah. Because yeah, the whole scene, I think he like slapped Deadpool's butt like,
yeah,
like 10 times.
literally,
It
bro.
was getting a
Yeah.
little excessive. They appealed to different like generations too. Like there was like a Gossip Girl reference. There
Oh
was
yeah,
kind of like a woke
actually that
reference
was
for the boomers.
yeah. I mean, they covered a lot. That was actually Sam's
Yeah,
favorite joke was the he was like 206
the
bones, like
Gossip Girl joke.
207. I'm watching Gossip Girl. Yeah, that was
Seven of them watching Gossip Girl.
okay. So let's move into let's just do like mixed and negative. Like it can just be whatever we didn't like. I'm gonna start with I enjoyed the plot. Like it feels like a it does feel like a passion project. I enjoyed the cameos. I wanted this to mean a little more to the overall story of the MCU than it ended up actually meaning. I
You
thought,
wanted this to like tie in like the others have.
yeah, in my opinion, then to getting sent back to their universe, it just kind of feels like Marvel's gonna try this, and if it isn't successful, then they can just say that they're not in the universe. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's also a small thing because they could easily, whatever, the next Avengers film is, they could just easily write in a thing where, oh yeah, this is how we got Deadpool and Wolverine here. You know what I mean? Like, so it's probably
Yeah,
not that big of a
yeah.
deal.
We kind of wanted to see like an eventual meld of the Deadpool because now that I guess that was the whole thing. He's like, "Hey, I'm here now." Like I'm talking to Kevin Feige about everything. Like,
Yeah, I think that goes into the MCU is really trying to come back and be what they were. I think they need to start blending. They need to make a through line for their movies. I think that this would have been a good way to do it, and I think that was just a missed opportunity with this one.
I agree. Yeah, I guess you're right. It wasn't necessarily because when he's in the TVA, I guess you are kind of expecting that he's going to go to the to that world. I'm hoping that's where they go with it. It's just
Yeah,
it seems like yeah they just kind of left it more up in the air. And I guess Wolverine is now in Deadpool's reality
yeah.
or
This
is in his world. Yeah,
yeah, whatever wherever he came from, he's
universe.
now in Deadpool's universe. Yeah. Another one, I think obviously it's not Deadpool 3, it's Deadpool and Wolverine. I think his the side characters in the Deadpool films got sidelined really hard in this one. And I guess if you want to see Deadpool and Wolverine, they're there. They have a whole movie. And maybe not that many people are like, yeah, the side characters, they're fine. But I always thought that they were like the one of the best parts of the Deadpool movies.
Oh
And it
yeah,
just
yeah.
felt kind of
The
like,
chemistry they all have together
yeah,
is so
it felt,
cool.
yeah, and like, did you end up watching Quantum Mania? That
I did.
yeah,
I did.
um, it it kind of felt like that in a sense of where it was like totally different from the first two movies. It obviously worked better. Like this, I mean, like Quantum Mania is not a good movie, and this at least is. But I was some similarities.
Yeah.
That's getting like really nitpicky, but it's just something
Well,
I
yeah,
enjoyed.
I know what you mean because I can see like as a fan of Deadpool in the first two movies, like wanting to see how maybe those characters from those movies would interact with Wolverine and how would they all work together as a team rather than
Yeah,
it just being like a different adventure Deadpool goes on.
right.
Which I guess is why they went with the midlife crisis thing. They're like, oh,
Yeah,
Deadpool doesn't know how to Deadpool anymore. He's wants to sell used cars or
that's
like
true. Yeah, yeah. And so but I guess also that's a good point. I guess they also maybe that's why they didn't name it Deadpool 3. It's Deadpool and Wolverine.
yeah,
So
and that makes more sense to me now that we're saying it out loud. I'm like, oh
yeah,
yeah, it's like it's
it's
about the two of them.
yeah.
They're both pulling away from each other's stories into their own.
That's a good
Um,
yeah, yeah.
I think the only person Wolverine interacted with is his landlord, is Deadpool's
It's
landlord.
the good, yeah, blonde, yeah, yeah, the blonde, yeah, yeah,
That's the
literally,
only one.
yeah,
Yeah.
literally, yeah. Did you have any other? You have any negative?
What did I write down? I wrote I feel like the previous Deadpool movies balanced the comedy and the serious moments. But this movie wasn't as balanced, and most every serious scene had some sort of a joke shoot into it
A
to
hundred
remind the
percent.
viewer that it's not too serious. It's
Yeah,
it's like the whole point with Deadpool is like we're not taking ourselves too seriously, but in the first two movies, there was some like there was some genuinely, with his backstory, some tear jerking moments,
Yeah,
like losing a loved one and like or losing a relationship, and
yeah.
there were some moments where I was like, man, like tearing up. I remember that's what like struck me to the movies. It was really funny. It was really stupid, but there were some moments that just hit.
It
Uh,
was yeah, there
this
was
one, it was
heart
kind of
there.
hard. Only like the Hugh Jackman moments really were the only few times where I was like, dang, dude, like the one where he's like around all the graves, of his
Yeah,
universe of all the people that
yeah,
died,
when
and
she's in his
that
mind,
was like,
yeah.
ooh,
I
yeah,
agree because the first two, I know what you're saying. The first two Deadpool movies, yeah, like his everything with cancer and him dying, and then in the second one, his girlfriend dies. So it's like
yeah,
there's some dark stuff in there, and it balances it well. And that's actually I have it here written too. Is there's not that it doesn't feel it feels much more like a comedy. It doesn't
yeah.
always
The
have to be.
theme was like coping with trauma through humor. I feel for the first two
Yeah,
movies, and the theme of
yeah,
this one didn't follow the string of themes that the franchises kind of had up until this point. It kind of diverted a little bit,
yeah,
just a
100%
little
agree.
bit.
Just a little bit. I feel bad complaining about this because I know there's a lot of stuff happening right now and people are really overworked and underpaid. Um, I just thought for it being the one Marvel movie this year, there were some CGI moments that did not. They kind of I was like, oh, that looked bad. Like that looked kind of bad.
Yeah, yeah.
Just small ones,
A
and
few
I that
special
kind of
effects that were like looking a little different than the other films, and those films
yeah,
were
you're
like
like this
6 years ago.
literally, yeah.
Yeah,
One of the last things I actually wanted, just a random comment. I wanted to put this in the
yeah,
positive stuff. Hugh Jackman is jacked, bro. He looks
dude. Oh
insane.
my god, almost as good as the
Oh
Cavalry.
yeah,
Henry
I
Cavill
forgot.
Wolverine. He called
So
him the
I
Cavalry.
forgot about that. The cavalry, yeah, literally, he
Dude,
was
that was
jacked
so.
too.
I
Oh
was
my
like,
god.
Jesus. What are you
And then that was a good montage too when he was finding all the Wolverines and they had that like the comic accurate Wolverine. Dude,
Yeah,
I
this.
was crying, bro. That made me laugh so hard. But yeah, he I don't know the whatever insane diet Hugh Jackman was on or whatever. He looked insane, dude. I think this was like the
Dude was
best.
just eating like steak and celery.
Yeah,
like,
like 6 meals a
like
day and
it.
constantly working out. I think this is the best that he's looked, in all honesty, like in all the movies. Like that was insane.
I was like wondering if it was a body double, and then he was
That's why they
his,
had the mask on.
and then his full body was in one of them. I was like, all right, dude.
Yeah, good for you. Good on you.
Alpha energy. My bad. Sigma.
My
Sigma
Sigma,
energy. He
my bad,
stands alone. He's a Sigma male. Obviously, Wolverine is a Sigma male. What
I
was your
guess we
favorite? What was your favorite fight? I'm curious. The Deadpool fight scene. Like, I thought that was really cool to
it
watch.
was. Yeah.
And
I
seeing like him and Wolverine like switch positions and like
yeah.
all in one kind of a shot.
Yeah,
It
one
was
move.
so
Yeah.
cool.
I think that and I will say in that fight, that moment where they jump through the bus and there's that pose, like there was like that
Oh,
slow motion. That was sick, dude. That was sick.
that
I
was
will
so
say
sick.
that.
I guess an uncertain future for Deadpool.
Yeah,
It
that's gotta be my biggest it's just the uncertain future. I think
we don't
yeah,
know where it's headed. We can guess where it's headed. Like some people are saying, what like Deadpool joins the Avengers. I think I heard someone floating around an idea that like maybe that's the setup. You know,
yeah, I mean, I'm sure, especially with I think with Deadpool being a huge hit, like the character himself and everybody loving Ryan Reynolds, and Hugh Jackman coming back, I think that they're gonna do what they can to put them in the next two Avengers movies. I think they're gonna bring Toby back. I think they're gonna bring Andrew back. Like I think it's gonna be this big
oh please.
monster
Oh,
cast
wait.
or
Did you have a
anything.
favorite? Like, what was your favorite like funny moment? Like, what got you the most?
I actually, honestly, the thing that consistently made me laugh and got me the most was Deadpool's obsession with Thor. I think
Oh,
that actually
oh
it was
Thor,
just
Thor.
yeah, yeah, because
Why was he crying?
yeah, yeah. But
I agree.
what
That one
about
was
you?
that one was that one was funny. And then Channing Tatum's
Yeah,
character, man, it
yeah,
just anytime he talked, like from the get go, from the
yeah.
like, because when he started talking, I was like, is he speaking in a different language? Is
Yeah.
this? and then they were self-aware about it being funny,
Uh,
and then from that point on, it was just like I would every time he spoke, I was laughing.
I mean, we can do like a
You had
closing
something
thing
else, right?
really
Like
quickly.
rate your top
Oh,
three.
yeah, yeah. I think, but ranking the Deadpool films, let's do from worst to best. At the yeah, and last for me is Deadpool 2, and then Deadpool and Wolverine, and then the first Deadpool.
It's like chronological. I'm right there with you. I feel
Yep.
like they're all close, and like if we were to give them like a rating, I think they're all pretty close together. I just feel like the first movie was so good, and then yeah, second movie was a good follow up, and but not the same as like seeing the first Deadpool movie, and then
Yeah,
Deadpool and Wolverine, good movie, but not didn't have the same vibe as the first two. Same themes as
yeah.
the first two. So it's like
So
rating something from an A to a B minus. It's like a
yeah.
steady decline, but
Okay.
like nothing really too crazy for me.
Wow. I'm kind of
Yeah.
surprised actually because I think you sounded like maybe from how much how like you sounded that you really liked this one. I'm kind of surprised.
I think
Uh,
I it's just the Deadpool movies were just so I think I saw them at points of time. Like I saw the second movie during the pandemic,
Oh yeah,
and it's really stuck for me. And I saw the first movie in theaters. I was so
right.
excited to see it in theaters. I was like, I'm ready for the R-rated,
Yeah,
Marvel first R-rated Marvel film. I'm
and
thinking more about my experience while I'm watching them than the movies themselves. But I think even if
yeah.
I went off the movies themselves, I just feel like that's narratively where I'd put them.
Do you have a numerical rating?
Well, 1 through 5, 1 through 10.
1 through 10.
I would give it a light 8.
A light 8. Okay, I was gonna say I'm giving
A
mine.
light 8.
I'm gonna give it a solid 7.
Yeah, light 8. That light 8 was creeping to a 7. It would probably be
Yeah,
like a 7.8 for me in my head
yeah,
if I
yeah.
got like super technical. But I was like, let's do a light 8.
Let's do a light 8. Okay, so just rapid closing this one out. I'm closing this one out.
Hmm.
Have you seen? Did you see any of the stuff that Marvel announced last night?
Oh man. Only thing I know is Robert Downey Jr. is Doctor Doom,
He's Doctor
or
Doom,
Doctor
bro.
Prof whatever, as Doom. Yeah,
Yeah, he's
I
Doctor
think
Doom.
that's both an interesting choice, and from what I've read on Reddit about it, I think people have mixed opinions. It
Yeah,
seems some
I'm.
people think
I'm.
it's a cop out.
I think I've been
Yeah,
reading that too. That it's a cop out. I would be excited for this if they played it in this evil, this Iron Man variant or whatever went evil and became Doctor Doom. Like that would be kind of cool. I think.
yeah. Oh, dude.
I
Yeah.
think that would be sick. And I mean, I see why they asked him back because the MCU is struggling and Robert Downey made the MCU and also like he just won an Oscar. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna get
Yeah.
they're gonna ask him back. They'll give him whatever money he wants.
Well,
So
what does it say though that they have to bring in some OGs again?
to
Like,
get some interest in it again.
but also sometimes aren't things like supposed to kind of have their beginning and end? And I feel like superhero movies they've been all
I,
the rage for the past decade, and I think now it's like with zombies.
yeah, it had its
Zombies was
time.
like had its time, and there were a bunch of zombie movies and zombie video games, and then superheroes were super big.
Right. And that
Um,
was like,
and
yeah.
now I'm like now I just feel burnt out. I'm like, there's
Yeah.
so many
I
superhero
think
movies.
yeah, there's so many and I mean I really think if these I mean I know there's they could put in the X-Men and things like that. There's different avenues and stuff, but I mean I think there's something I used to like I remember in COVID being like, "Oh, you know what? I have all this time. I'm going to rewatch the MCU Avengers. Like I'm going to watch all of them going
Uh
up to
huh.
Endgame just because we have all the time in the world now." And now, even if I had all the time in the world, I don't want to watch these ones that have just recently come out, and I don't want to go through these shows and all this stuff. Like it's just too much now, and it varies. The quality varies so much that it doesn't have that feeling to it anymore. Like you're not like witnessing something amazing, like
The
history or
content's
something.
saturated.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a bummer too. Because I think what is it like? If we're talking about Disney owned like uh franchises and movies and stuff like Disney Plus, right? Like they just kind of dropped
so much stuff. Yeah,
so many series at once, and like when you think about that, how can you keep up with? I know you have the money to employ all these people, but how can you keep up with all of that at once? Like I'm
yeah,
still coming down from Moon Knight. Like
yeah,
I don't have
yeah.
time to
And
watch
now it's
whatever that like motorcycle one is. They're I don't know, like
yeah. There's
oh,
the
superhero on a motorcycle that does
yeah.
martial arts. Like, uh, are they a superhero? I don't even know what I'm
What are
talking
we
about. Is
doing
that
here?
something that's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
but and then you've got Star Wars, right? Right, like the Acolyte. I don't want to diverge too much from the MCU, but like the
Uh,
Acolyte apparently was well received, but also like another debated by fans kind of a thing. Like they're just putting
yeah,
so much out there. Like
they are.
you gotta
Yeah,
chill.
you gotta
You
chill.
gotta
I don't.
chill and just like let
I
it
agree.
simmer, let him
Let it
cook.
simmer. Let him. Yeah.
Let it marinate before you
Let him
let it
marinate.
cook. Let him cook. Let him
Uh,
marinate the meat before you let him cook it.
I really think if the next two Avengers movies, because they've moved away from Kang now because of that. I don't think people liked Kang and the whole actor thing. I mean, he's like gonna get like jail time.
What
But
happened with that? No, I'm just kidding. What?
what, dude? Oh, I think if these next two ones, the Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars, I think if they're like Deadpool and Wolverine, where they're just light eights or solid sevens, I think we just need to let it rest. Like I think
Yeah.
I personally think I would probably check out. I don't think I'd follow the MCU anymore. I think I would stop in for like, oh, there's a new Spider-Man movie, you know, because I like Spider-Man, or like
Yeah.
they're rebooting or redoing Daredevil. Like I'd stop in for that, but I don't think I'd follow it anymore because it's just the burnout and the quality's just gone.
I think the Marvels bombed so bad that they had to kind of take a step back.
Yeah.
It seems like they are, you know, that's what I've understood.
Well, sweet dude. I mean, I think I'm good. Like I said everything.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
chat.
Good chat, dude.
How you have a good one, dude, and I appreciate you letting me into your mind.
Cassandra Nova style with the fingers and
Yeah.
stuff.
Ugh. Ugh.